Hi again, everybody. I'm Alan Warren, the RV Wingman, and thank you for joining me today around my virtual campfire. Today, we're going to get the perspective of an RV industry veteran. And the reason that is important is if you're thinking about buying a new RV, open your mind. That is, I'm respectfully suggesting, open your mind. You don't have to believe what this guy says, but just think about it, because I agree with so much of what he has to say. He's been in the RV business for 20 years, and he's super, super smart. Before we roll into that interview, yes, the Hawaiian shirts that you see me wear here on the show, I have to pay for them, just like you do. But the good news is I get a discount, and so do you. If you'd like to find out where I buy my shirts and look at their full inventory, I don't get a paid commission or anything like that. I just love these things. Father's Day is not too far in the distant future, and if you're looking for something for the dad in your life or maybe for yourself, click on the word more. Yeah, click more in the description below, and you'll be able to get a link over to the folks that I buy these shirts from, as well as RV dealers I trust and the free RV report and some of that cool information. So again, click on the word more in the description below. So again, if you're thinking about buying a new RV, or maybe in the next year you're going to buy one, the window of opportunity, I'm saying there's a really good window of opportunity happening right now. And my friend Zach Reiniger is going to be talking about it. Let's go to Zach.
We joke a lot internally, and it's like, man, if it feels like kind of this hard sometimes for us, I can't imagine what it's like for some other people. And it's like, it's not doom and gloom for us. We've been around for so long, like we're playing the long game and we're trying to just take really good care of our customers. But you still feel it. It's not at all like a normal year. It's not at all, it's such a whipsaw effect, or whiplash effect, where it went so hard, so fast, and all of a sudden the brakes hit, and we were just caught off guard as an industry, and we didn't slow down fast enough. And we get to pay for other people's sins at this point, on
absolutely. And there's a lot of people that got, as you said, their face ripped off that they don't even know it yet. Yeah. They purchased over the last couple of years. They want to trade up. They want to trade to something else, and they're finding out that some dealers really took advantage of them. And it's a hard time, because all the dealers I work with, and you know the dealers, I mean, that they say one of the most difficult things for them every day is to tell people what their RV is worth in today's market.
Yeah.
Because
that's
terrible. Just the truth.
Especially for someone that, it's their first time buying, they get out and they really enjoy it, but they realize they bought the wrong unit for their family and they want to get the right one. And then you find out, that somebody had them paying, 7-10 grand over MSRP or something like that. Like, you're just like, good Lord. And you feel terrible for these families. And, I all throughout the pandemic, I mean, it's every dealer that I had, was constantly harping, like, do not do this. You cannot do this. There are trade cycles to this business. That customer will come back. And when they come back and find out what you did to them, they're going to hate you. And then around every campfire they have, at every campground they ever go to, they're going to tell them everything, let alone Facebook,
that's right,
Google reviews. Like, do not be short-sighted. Don't play for just this month. Play for the next 20 years. And a lot of them listened. And I'm fortunate, that our dealers played well and did that. But you hear horror stories, and you're seeing it now. We're seeing it at shows where these people come in. We'll start working a deal, and you'll get to the desk and start working numbers and pulling trade difference. And you're like, oh God, these poor people, like, who did this to them? And then unfortunately, a lot of times they think that the dealer that's trying to trade them out, they get mad at that dealer thinking they're the one lowballing them or whatever. And they're like, guys, like, here's the book. I don't shoot the messenger. I am sorry that they did that to you.
Now that leads me to a video that you did recently that I actually kind of stole your idea about, that now is a good time to buy an RV because the prices have come down, even though the interest rates have ticked up a little bit. That if you look at the overall scheme of things, dealers right now are really being aggressive about their pricing. Yeah. And talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I do. I think that there's a little bit of a sweet spot out there right now where dealers still have quite a bit of 2022 inventory on the ground. You have manufacturers that are incentivizing that inventory to help it move. Dealers are lowering their margins. And in some cases, they're losing money on these deals to just move that 2022 inventory because, again, they all bought a lot of it. And so it all started showing up later in the year than you wanted. It was just a timing thing that was bad as well. So they have this 2022 inventory. The incentives are out there for it. They want to move that product. And, it's the comparison I made it'd be like me asking you, Alan, like, what can you refinance? Can you refinance the price you paid for your RV or the interest rate that you have on the loan for it? And
Right.
you cannot refine it. You can't change the purchase price. You can refinance the interest rate.
Right.
And so emotionally, though, all of us are so used to this low interest rate environment that at first, when you get hit with some of these rates that you're seeing, it takes you back. And they're like, hold on a second. Like, I'm top tier credit. I don't want to pay that. I shouldn't have to.
Right.
And it's like, well, it's not personal about you. This is just the rates that they are today. But if you look at it, would you rather pay 8.5% today or 5.5% today? Well, you would automatically say, I want 5.5% today. But what if I told you to get 5.5% today, you have to pay $15,000 more?
Right.
Well, that doesn't add up to me. I mean, it's hold on a second. Let me see the numbers on that. And you did a great breakdown on your video where it shows, the price versus actual, like the higher price, lower interest rate versus lower price, higher interest rate. And the payments tend to be less today. Today. And so the biggest thing I'm encouraging people to just kind of say, like, don't rule it out. Don't automatically say, I'm not paying that rate. Well, I'm telling you right now, there's a window in time when there's so much aggressive behavior on dealers on 2022s. Manufacturers are incentivizing it, that you could get a deal and structure a deal today that you're actually paying less than you would have a year ago on payment, even with a higher rate. And then let's say the Fed ends up backing down, which eventually they should. That's their whole plan, is like tamp this down, and then we'll back it down. And you go to your credit union and refinance a year from now. And get a lower rate. That's all I'm trying to encourage people, is to understand that there are deals to be had, and those deals aren't going to be around forever either.
That's what I was going to ask. What's going to happen when this inventory begins to get back down, and then it goes back to normal, especially as we approach summer camping season? The prices are going to be not as generous, and the discounts aren't going to be as generous. Yes?
I mean, that's my impression. I think especially for the stronger brands, there's not a lot of 2022 inventory in the field. I already see it where customers are scooping up any deals that they might find on that stuff. And then I don't know what we're going to see as far as pricing heading forward. I've heard grumblings from other brands that are already doing price decreases. But if you go look at those brands over the last 2 years, like some of them are doing a 5 to 7% price decrease, right? But if you look at what their price increases were over the last 2 years, they were so much higher than anybody else. And so, like, because some of it we looked at, we're like, how are they doing? Like, I don't understand. We don't have a 7, like, we don't have that we're not seeing that reduction from our suppliers yet. And then you start looking at the math of how much they went up, and it's like, oh, it's because they went up so much. They went up like 10% more than everybody else. So they have the wiggle room now to come back down and be at everybody else's level. It's like, oh, so they were just really trying to get rich off you guys for the last 2 years.
And then they're going to say, look, we lowered our prices more than anybody else. Yeah, but you were paying more.
Yeah, and they make all the rest of us look like, jerks, because people be like, well, they're dropping theirs. Are you not yours? And I'm like, they dropped it how much? And then you do the math and you look at it, it's like, well, yeah, they went up 57%. Like, they've got a lot of room to go, so.
The RV industry there's so many rumors that float around with, I heard this and I heard that, but there is something that I'm seeing a lot of, is the people that say, well, I'm just going to wait on the sidelines until this industry crashes. It's and we're going to make those rich manufacturers pay for taking advantage of us. Are you seeing that as well? And what would you say to somebody that's sitting back there going, it's about time?
I would ask them, I would say, prove it. Because I'll tell you this much, Alan, I've been doing this almost 20 years. And every year I hear the same story from people out there. I'm just going to wait until this happens, or I'm going to wait till this, and I'm going to wait till that. And they always wait, and they never buy, and they never go spend the time with their family, and they never do these things. So on one hand, I think that person that's saying that is never actually going to buy no matter what. They're just trying to use that as an excuse of why they're waiting. We just see it all the time. On the other hand, I would tell you, our industry's seen this before. We've been around over 110 years now almost. And we've been through a lot, especially in the last 30 some years. It's from I guess it's 40 some years now that I think about what year it is. We've seen everything from like the oil and gas crises, with the lines at the pump, from interest rates. There were interest rates at 24-25% at one point in time that they're selling these RVs at. So we've seen the great recession, all these different things our industry has seen. And there's one thing about it is we're incredibly adaptable and we're very resilient. And that doesn't mean all of us. It doesn't mean that there might not be some attrition here and there or things falling off. I do not anticipate seeing any kind of, catastrophic, utter implosion of our industry. I think that the manufacturers have hit the brakes so hard on some of these lines that they have, and they're being so much more conservative that I just don't see it happening.
So what do you see in the future in the way of RVs over the next, 3, 6, 12 months? I would like to see your comments below. More importantly, what do you think about Zach's perspective? Do you feel it's important to listen to others and get their perspective? I do, especially if it's a different opinion than we have. When someone has been in the RV industry for 20 years, I think that they know a thing or two about how it works. Of course, he's a salesman. You people out there, hey, just trying to sell an RV. Well, yeah. But you know what? It's easy to sell the lifestyle. He happens to work for, I think, the best division of Forest River, but that's just my opinion. So I value everybody's perspective. I value yours. So drop a comment below. Let me know what you see over the next 3, 6, 12 months in the way of the RV industry. And if you think that there are still some good deals, like I do, out there on 2022 models that the dealers say they got to go. I'm Alan Warren, the RV Wingman. Be safe, have fun, play nice, and don't leave your good manners at home.